Hi. Before me here is Hisense HS204. Yeah, HS204. Right. So what is wrong with it? The problem was that it turns on, right? It's connected to a Bluetooth device. Say for example a phone. You play song, but no output. So that is a problem. That was a problem. So the owner of it, took it to a place to have it fixed, but they couldn't. In fact, they added to the problem because the speaker was turning on before, but now on returning because the person could not fix it, it was not turning on again. So on checking, I fixed the part that is not turning on. The problem was because of this flex right here. Yeah, the flex. So this is connected to here, right? Yeah, and here is the power button. But the orientation of this, the person is not connected it well. So the person connected it wrongly. Hence, you press this power button, it won't turn on because this button does not communicate with this due to bad orientation of the flex, right? So instead of the flex, the peeled part to face up, it face down, right? So there was no connection between the switch and the board. So that was why it was not turning on. And besides, the flex has problem. It has many of the pins as cut. All right, so that's outside. That one was fixed. The problem was the flex. But now back to the primary problem that the person complained about. So on this is the motherboard for this Hisense soundbar. So on checking, there was this thing here. So they used to, it was like this, right, to cover it up. Right. So I open it, I tear it off. And on checking, I noticed that this capacitor right here shorted. And meanwhile, this capacitor here is connected to these inductors. And these inductors are connected to this speaker. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 will be for one side, and another 2 for this side. Right? So one side will be for positive, another one will be for the negative. The same type will be able to hear. So here was shorted. And on checking, right, this has a connection to this shape here. This shape is the audio amplifier. Without this, you're not going to hear sound. So this is important for you to get sound on the from the Bluetooth speaker. So automatically, since this one is shorted, that means there's a problem with this shape. So I placed order for another one. It arrived, yeah, and this capacitor, I replaced it. And the capacitor, the value of this capacitor is 0.22 UF. Yeah, 0.22 UF. So I find a replacement and I replaced it. New chip arrived. I installed it. Still the same problem. No sound output. Right. Okay. So meanwhile, I've checked the rest of the motherboards, looking for short, blah, 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 nothing. All right. So I'm coming down to this chip. Okay. So I asked myself, since I checked this, there's no voltage here. There's no voltage to the speakers. So if there's no voltage, that means the speakers are not being driven. This part should have a voltage, at least maybe about 1.2 volts or thereabout. Yeah, it now depends on the kind of speaker because I've not handled this before, so I don't know. And there's no schematics for this motherboard. All right, there's no schematics for it, so I have to use, my brain, trace pins out, lines out, yeah, and stuff. So I don't know the vote, but what I know definitely is that there should be an output, there should be a voltage. At least it should be above 1 volt. All right. So I get the schematics for this, data sheet rather for this. All right. I identify the in because for there to be output, it should be an in. All right. So I identify the in, right? So on identify the in, I trace the in of this. Why this is the chip, the Bluetooth module. So this one is, let me say is a CPU. Yeah, is the brain of this. This is what is called the Bluetooth. This is the Bluetooth module. But that is, it does not give sound, does not mean that the module has problem. All right. So the last thing will be this module. And besides, I could not find this module. Yeah. So I check all the parts and there was no short, right? So I trace this part. I trace the in to these capacitors right here. So on checking, I noticed that there were 1.2, about 1.2, 1.4 volts was here. So 1, 2. So that means this module, gives out that is for the in for this. All right. So that's ruled out this module, that this module is bad. So this module is okay. Okay. So on checking, all right. And beside that, I try to, aside from the in, there's a part that is called VCC, right? So I notice here is the break because in order to treat this carefully, it's important for one to write all the pins down and note what voltage is at what pin so that I'll be able to see it clearly. All right, so the first here is 1 to 14. Here is number 1, right? It has a dotted spot here. Number 1 to number 14. This amplifier has 28 pins. So this here is 4 to 12. So I trace it out 1 to 12. And for the 1 to 12, these are the voltage. 1 and 2 gives me 4 volts. 1 and 2, they are connected together. Yeah. So 3, 4, nothing, 5, nothing. 7, this one is a VCC. It gives 1.3 volts. Since I don't know the thing, well, I let it be. So I found another speaker, but not the same thing, but different one. Sanko Boom. Yeah. And the name of the ship this is AGM 4703, right? So I checked why the numbers are different, but I know that there's going to be some kind of similarity. So I used the knowledge in order to, to deal with this. All right. So I list out the pins and these are the voltage. I noticed that all the pins have individual arts, they have their own voltage. And the one that is 0 is ground, except a part that has frequency. Yeah, good. This number 6 is frequency. And number 7, this one is AVDD, right? Why this one is VCC? I think it has a letter. I could not remember the letter. That is number 7. I cannot remember the letter. But this is what I noticed. This same number 7, right? This same number 7 has the same input to this 27 and 28. That is PVDD. And it also have the same input with this one as well, 15 and 16. That is the same PVDD. And PVDD, this is 14.98. These are high voltage. Basically, they are the input, voltage input for the chip, right? So this and this. And the same input goes to this, to number 7. So that tells me that this number 7 here, the one that gives 1.3 volts, it should not be 1.3 volts, but rather the voltage should be similar to this. Yeah, this 17.9. So that is telling me that number 7, there's a problem with number 7, not from the chip, but around it. Right. Hope you are following, right? So I'm coming down to here, I trace number 7, and I trace it to this, and it has the data sheet of this chip. It shows the application of it, right? So beside it is 100 ohm resistor, and 100 ohm resistor is this 100 ohm. Oh yes, it should be 100 ohm resistor is there. 100 is written on the beside here. It's written on this resistor here is written on it, and beside it is a capacitor. A 1 UF, yes, 1 UF capacitor. So on checking, right, I noticed that this place was written as a fuse. Yeah, I put a probe. Why this both terminals are not connected to the ground, right? So this has turned to a fuse, hence causing the and on checking here, same voltage that is 70 point something volt was here, but on coming to this place that goes to the chip that is pin number 7, it was giving 1.3 volts. So that means this nigga right here pulled down the voltage. So that was the cause of the problem why 1.3 volts was there. So I removed it and I looked for 1 UF capacitor and I replaced it, and boom, the right voltage get to this place, right? And after I got to this place, all these in voltage appears both for the left and the right. They both appeared. And I have my output, and the output the output is very high, not even 1 point something volts. It was 14 point something volt. Yes, that enters, this inductor. 14 point something volt that drives this speaker. And that is how I fix this problem. Why this board gives me quite a lot of problem. Much headache, but I'm happy that I was able to fix this. Yeah, very, very tricky. So that is it. All right. So multiple things on this. Number one, a shorted capacitor, automatically this one has problem. So I replace it. After replacing it, the problem persists. But the short of this has gone because I've replaced the capacitor. Only to find out that, this capacitor has shorted. That voltage got to this place, but here, it pulled it down to 1 point something volts, 1.3 volts. All right, so I replaced this and that fixed the problem. Okay, so next is, let's put this to a test and see. Although I've tested it and it's working. So I'm going to plug in the speakers. And interestingly, this speaker does not use battery. Yeah, without power, there's no way you can use this speaker. So I dislike it because of that. Okay, so plug in. There will be red light, and here is a red light. And next is to turn it on. Right, so I've not connected the flaps, but there's a way I can turn this on. I will just have to bridge this. Yeah, it has turned on. Yeah, you can hear the sound. Yeah, so it has turned on. So next is for me to connect a Bluetooth device to it. So connected, the light is no more blinking. It has stabled. So now I want to play, let me play Pirate of the Caribbean. Yeah, let's see if we're going to have sound. Should have sound. I think what is wrong? Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Does it require this? Maybe the way I turn it on has caused some kind of itch. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to connect this flash. Yeah. All right, so that one is connected. Now let me try this again. So plug in. Now there is a light. Yeah, the power.
Meaning you gave up. I did not. I'm just as bent as ever. Devastated. I should take the gift. Not all. Oh.
All right, so you can see that it's sounding. So trying to use that, I think it requires this. I don't know. All right, so I'll plug it in and it is working now. It is working. All right, so I want to measure the voltage. All right, so ground is okay. This ground, let me take this ground here, and yeah,
You are. Yes.
yeah, that is 14.8 volts. That is the voltage that goes to each of the pins. Yeah, 14 point something volts. This directly to the speaker. Yeah, yeah, to the speaker. Right, 40 point something volt goes to this, and to the speaker is this one is given. This is 9.2. This is 9.2. Yeah, straight to the speakers 9.2, 9.2.
I am Jack, but I'm not here to put your crew.
This other one, this is 8.73. All right, so let me see the other end of this capacitor, 9.2. All right, so this side is 14, and the other side to the speaker, 9.2.
And I am in London.
And for the inputs, these are the it's too far. Well, this speaker is all right, and these are the inputs. So inputs here. Oh, I think it's affecting the speaker. It's affecting it. So I'm going to stop there. All right, so that is it. That is how this speaker, was fixed. All right, unplug. So next is coupling. So regarding this, where they use a glove, this thing doesn't get hot. It doesn't. And for all the speakers I've been seeing, they don't use this. So this to me, no, that's no meaning. So I'm not going to return it. Yeah, I'm not going to return it. So I'm going to leave it that way. This thing doesn't get hot. It doesn't. So this is another one. Look at similar thing here. The amplifier, nothing. They didn't cover it. So I'm going to leave it like that. So test final time. Plug in. There's a light, red, beautiful light. All right. Next is to press a button once. Yeah. You see, connected. I think this is a base, right? Ew. All right, so that is it. So this has been fixed. So I've explained A to Z of how I was able to have this fixed. So if you are faced with similar problem, I believe you should be able to have it fixed. Although, yeah, just have to look for it. As this one has a problem of the amplifier is faulty, there's a couple of capacitor that has problem, I didn't just second guess. I traced the fault out and I was able to fix it. Do not second guess in fixing this kind of problem. Otherwise, you can damage things or you just waste money. What is not at fault, just blame it. At the end of the day, it will not work. So you just have to know what you are doing, and I believe you should be able to have it fixed. And if you have any speaker at all, but you just have to make sure that if it's worth it, right? If maybe like your speaker is like, I don't know, maybe it's few thousand naira. That is for naira. If it's like maybe like 10,000, 15, 20,000 naira, it's better to go and buy another one. Doesn't worth fixing. So if you buy a speaker and the speaker is going to like close to 100,000 naira or above, yeah, let me say from 80k upward, yeah, maybe say let's say 70 or thereabout, yeah. So that is it. So just send it to me, and hopefully it's going to work. As this one has been to, at least the one that I know, replace. Perhaps maybe it's more than that, I don't know. But now it's here with me and it's fixed. And this, I think it take like before a month or thereabouts, because I have to order for parts that is 40. I have to wait for the part to arrive. And I fix sometimes the part that is 40 might be more than one. Like this one, like about 3 parts has problem, but I was able to find replacement part for other parts. Yeah. So imagine if I have to place order for other parts, it's going to wait longer. So that is it. It is not easy to fix, right? It is stressful. One has to have a focused mind. But at the end, that's why I said that the speaker has to watch it, because it's not all speaker that's worth fixing because of time that will be spent on it. All right. So that is all for this. See you next time. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you have problem with your speaker, and if the speaker is expensive, I don't deal with speaker that is not expensive. They have to be expensive, so that way it will worth fixing. All right. And if you have such, just send it over. It will work. Yeah, hopefully, right?